All right, guys, it's time to tackle both closets in the master bedroom. Let me show you what we're working with. All right, this is the first one. This is the one that the wife has been using. It's been, well, I don't want to use the word upgraded, but at some point somebody did do a bunch of modifications to it to make it a little bit better. They put down this shoe holder down here, and then at one point they had a second bar up here, I guess to hang clothes from. There is a light right up here. It's just a single fluorescent light right now that goes to this switch, which is kind of nice. There's another switch over there for that one, but it's currently burned out. Now this one looks about the same, just with a burnt out light. So you've got the same shoe rack. This one has both of these bars right now. So I'm gonna rip out absolutely everything in here. We're gonna go all the way down to the floor. We're gonna put in a nice hardwood floor. Of course, we're gonna paint all of the walls after I repair any little holes that are left over from removing all this. And then we're using this IKEA software to design a whole new closet. And when I say we, I mean my wife. So I'll show you guys what we've got planned up for that. All right, wifey, what are you working on?
Working on our closet organization.
And this is from IKEA?
IKEA, yeah.
All right.
This is the PAX.
And both closets are going to be the same?
We'll just do them identical.
Cool. And we can flip this, right? The one that has this corner, we can put it on the other side to make the two closets mirrored?
Yes.
All right. What's the cost?
$777.
And that's for each side?
Each side.
All right, let's do it. All right, now the first step is just to cut out and remove the carpet, and then I do have to remove the carpet tacks that we're holding it in. I'm not going to be reusing those because I'm going to be going with a wood floor in here. Now I'm not going with a hardwood floor like the rest of the house. I'm going with a floating laminate floor because it is such a small area, but I found some that matches what I have in the rest of the house pretty good. Now the construction of this makeshift closet that they built is not great, but at least most of the nails went into the studs. So when I was able to remove everything, there weren't too many holes in the drywall, which is nice. I did have to remove the baseboard just to get to the custom-made shoe rack, I guess is what you call that. Now I didn't need to do this part. I'm patching up the walls that will eventually be covered up, but I figured now's the time to do it and do it right. That way if anybody needs to modify it later on, it's not all messed up. What's that?
Papa painting.
Yeah, well I'm not really painting. This is putty. Do you want to try? Come here. Grab this. All right, go ahead. There's a hole right here. Hey, not bad. What about right here? There you go. She's helping. You need a little more? Close this up for you. There. Go nuts, kid. Alright. Alright, I'll take over from here. You want to go this way? Right here?
Ready.
Good job, Betty. Thank you. So after the plaster was dry, I gave it a light sanding and then shot the whole thing with some paint. I'm using my Greco paint sprayer here, and the color is Dunn Edwards. It's, let's see, DEW341, I believe. It's called Swiss Coffee. It's a really nice off-white color that matches great with pretty much every color that we put next to it, including like a full white, which is what the IKEA cabinetry is. So this is for that floating floor. This is just a small pad and a moisture barrier that I'm cutting around the edges here. And then I'm using a multi-tool to get those little carpet tack edges because I am going to have the carpet meet up directly against this once we do the new carpet in the bedroom. And when it comes time to do this little cut right here, you'll see I'm using a tool that I normally use for tile. I kind of found out after that most of the guys will cut the trim and then slide the wood flooring underneath it. The style that I'm doing is more common if you're going to be doing tile. I was pleased with how tight it was up against that molding, but I've got my little mini-me helper today. So I'm sure most of you guys have put together IKEA furniture before. It's pretty straightforward. There's one little trick here. I have to do a lot of work myself or with a tiny helper. So I cut a piece of wood, you'll see off to the right there, and I use that wood to hold up the top piece, which wouldn't be able to stay up on its own. That allows me to get the other side piece. So that piece of wood is cut about 1/4 of an inch shorter than it needs to be. That way when I put that white piece on the end, I can Just kind of lift it up, knock the piece of pine out of there, be good to go. There's a lot of little tricks that you kind of have to learn when you're doing the work by yourself. Now you'll watch my little man here, he runs out of steam pretty quick. He goes from being rambunctious and then he gets on the floor and then he ends up being like a little sloth. And then he gives up either for nap time or snack time. You'll see him run away here. See you later. Which means, of course, I'm forced to do this side all by myself. Again, using that piece of wood to help me put this together. Now, because these were so large, I had to put them together inside. Otherwise, I would have been able to slide them through. You'll see in a second here, the centerpiece, that one I am able to make completely as like a standalone unit and then slide it in one piece. It ends up being a little bit easier to do it this way if you have enough room to make it fit, but it just didn't work for the big piece. Now here I'm clamping them together. I'm using some pieces of cardboard just from the IKEA boxes and then a clamp to hold them together. These little connectors do come with the kit in case you are connecting them like I'm doing here. Oh look, he's back from his snack time, nap time. Oh, and another little helper here. So this is that corner piece. This can be installed on either side. So in the one closet we did it one way and the other closet we did it the other way. Now if you remember when my wife was showing the IKEA set on the computer program, these were actually about 8 inches off the wall. It had this large gap there. So I knew that I was going to have to modify it. So you see the tape and the drilling and the screw right here, this is all stuff that I had to do in order to move that corner piece back about 8 inches. But it's nice because it gives me a lot more room in the main wardrobe box, and then again I get that little tucked in area on that corner. Alright, now is the time for all the little plugs so that I can put the shelves in, and then I've got the sliders. These drawers are pretty nice. They've got that feature where you push them in and then when they're about an inch or two away, they actually will like pull themselves in to fully seat. So that's good quality stuff. This is kind of a cool little slider that the wife found. And then of course I waited to do the trim until I was fully done. That way the closet wasn't up against the trim. I could fully seat it up against the wall, and then I could use some wall anchors to make sure to hold it in. And of course, less trim to do. So the wife picked out this mirror. I thought it was a pretty good deal. It was like $22 at Lowe's. You can find them cheaper, like $6 at Walmart or Target or whatever, but those seem to have like a little bit of a funhouse effect to them. Oh, got both my helpers back. Now these handles, we didn't need to do these. This is just something that I thought would make it look a little bit nice, and we bought them in bulk when we were doing the bathroom remodel. All right guys, the closet is finally done. Let me remind you, this is what it looked like before. And here is what it looks like now. Ta-da! I really like this IKEA setup. It was pretty easy to install, very sturdy. Seems like it'll last a long time. What I think ended up making the biggest difference were these brushed nickel handles and the mirror. It gives it a little bit of color, what would otherwise be super white. Now the two sides are identical, they're just flip-flopped with where the corner pieces are, and then the wife was going with like a his and hers, so she did a bar here for t-shirts, and then she put this here for neckties. Let me show you how she's got her side set up, because she's already put some clothes in here. So you can see this is for necklaces, and then there's no bar across there. There is an extra one over here though. Very cool. Now the total cost for this, let me put that up there so you guys can see. Now we were trying to keep this on a budget because we are selling this house soon, so we're looking for the most bang for our buck, and I think that the wife totally nailed it. So that's it for this week. Next week I'm going to be tackling a side bathroom that needs to be totally gutted. So take care.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.